We are starting with third unit. This particular unit is about, now we are going in detail of entrepreneurship development, in the sense that there are now various organizations, various government schemes are there which support the entrepreneurial venture. So from now onwards, we would be learning about these organizations. Not only these organizations, there are other topics also to cover, but then this is little technical part where we have to remember which organization is giving what kind of assistance, what mandatory things are required to get that assistance, and how state wise the programs are run, how state wise the state I mean how each and every state at their level promotes and supports the entrepreneurial venture. So this is roughly about what the coming incoming sessions we would be learning. Now, this particular unit, unit third, is about knowing the entrepreneurial competencies. So, as an entrepreneur, what qualities, though we have seen them, but again we would be learning about those competencies. Now, again, there is something called as entrepreneurial development, concept of ED. So, what this concept is, what role these EDPs, entrepreneurial development programs, such programs play, what are its objectives, what are the objectives of conducting such EDPs, how, what are the methods of conducting those EDPs, and how they are being executed. And then role of these organizations like SISI is there, DIC is there, then NISBUD is there, NIESBUD, and the other organizations, what role they are going to play in entrepreneurial development. So, yeah, any somebody wants to say something?
On which topic? Kindly
As
I wanted to know the topic, like you said before some time also, so I thought कि मुझे सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है.
okay, no issues. So, entrepreneurial competencies. Now, what are these entrepreneurial competencies? The entrepreneurial competencies are basically, these are the characteristics. Like there are some general characteristics, generic characteristics, or there could be some specific characteristics. So, generic would be like we have seen risk taking, or ability to innovate. These are the generic characteristics must to have, जो कि depends on person to person, the level and specifications of these characteristics depends on person to person. Some people are, though they are risk takers, there could be some people who are more risk takers, like that. So these are the generic characteristics, as well as some specific uh, characteristics, like the knowledge which you have. Suppose I like to read about the investments. I'm this area interests a lot to me. For some people it could be traveling, maybe for others it could be cricket. So just by reading about it, or going in detail about those topics, you get a lot of information. So for an entrepreneur, even this helps him a lot. For example, as I said, suppose my area of interest is investments, financial investments. So I like to read about what is happening in case of mutual funds, how share market works, what is hedging, or maybe what are futures and options, stuff like that. Suppose this is my area of interest, so I go in detail of it. So whenever I think of starting something of my own, having such knowledge somewhere will definitely help me out. So, entrepreneurial competencies is taking into consideration all these characteristics of an entrepreneur, like the generic knowledge, the general one, general traits, as well as some specific ones, like how much knowledge you hold about a particular topic, or how much knowledgeable you are in your area of interest, the social roles, maybe the self images, the skills, the motives, your trait, your personality trait. Combining these things together or these skills together, it results into venturing into something. So how confidently you pass this process is your entrepreneurial competency. Another definition tells us that it is the total ability of an entrepreneur to perform his role successfully. Now, as an entrepreneur, what role I have to perform? We have seen that I have to innovate, I have to act as a motivator, like the role the manager performs. Hmm? So I have to act as a motivator, I have to act as a leader, I have to find finance, I have to find or I should be having good marketing skills. I should know the latest trends in sales and marketing in finance. So, everywhere, or I should be, in short, jack of all if I have to start my entrepreneurial venture. So, entrepreneurial competencies is taking care of all these personality traits of a person which help him result into venturing entrepreneurial venture. If I have to start or if I have to begin, this is how I improve on my competencies. Fine. So, these are the skills which are necessary for an entrepreneur to venture into an enterprise. Maybe these skills are also required to organize and manage an entrepreneur ably and competently, with ease and with full of confidence. These competencies help me out. We have seen those competencies. Basically, these are the required qualities in an entrepreneur. These competencies are also helping me realize the goals for which the enterprise is established. So these competencies are in a way always trying to keep you on track. If I am starting, let's say, distribution of fruits, suppose this business I have ventured into, so my competencies would be knowing the seasonality in case of fruits, trying to get as fresh stock of fruits as possible all the time, reaching to maximum people, and through word of mouth, through proper marketing, I should reach to my target customer. And I should also have some CRM skills so that I can track the the older customers, and I can also serve the older ones, as well as the I can also find the newer customers for this business. So competencies are telling me that what exactly, they are reminding me what I have to do as an entrepreneur. Okay. So this is how I divide the competencies into. These are divided as personal entrepreneurial competencies and second, venture initiation and success competencies. Now these venture initiation and success competencies are further divided into enterprise launching and management. So let us see these types in detail. Now personal entrepreneurial competencies are related to a person, that is the personal characteristics of an individual who is performing the task effectively and efficiently. So if I have to perform the task of a person who is dealing with fresh fruits, who is into this sort of venture, that I am ordering fresh fruits and I am delivering it at the doorstep uh, of my consumers. Now those could be my residents, building residents, or those could be my friends or relatives as well. So, yes, sort in this sort of venture, what personal characteristics I should possess? We just now discussed that I should have good contact. I should maintain those contact. I should improve on those contact. I should also know how to tackle complaints.
Hello,
And
ma'am.
yes,
Ma'am, ma'am, sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Your slide is not visible.
okay. Mm,
Thank you, ma'am.
no, can you see this diagram, entrepreneurial competency?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm
Besides,
explaining that diagram only because in personal entrepreneur competencies, there is actually not much which I can include in PPT.
okay, ma'am.
Huh? So I'm explaining just this diagram only. We have next, एक minute, huh? Yeah. We have next जो behavioral competencies है. So that time I'll go to the next one. Fine?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So in this venture, as I said, acquisition, relationship, or retaining the customers, how can I do that? So that becomes my personal characteristics or personal entrepreneurial competency related to the entrepreneurial venture. So इसमें maybe the characteristics or the competencies which I should develop at personal level could be the way I initiate the activities, how I look at the opportunities, or how I assume that now this is what I have to act upon. So, how initiative or what sort of initiatives I take, that becomes my personal competency. Looking, I mean, understanding or sensing the opportunities and acting on it. Then I should also be persistently behind the getting the things done, how I am managing with it. So persistence meaning not losing the hope or not losing the patience, and continuously behind my customers, or continuously behind striving that what I have to achieve. Or another characteristic could be always trying to uh, seek for the information, always trying to get the updated information, or always trying to get as latest knowledge about it as possible. Maybe trying to maintain quality work. Maybe when I am dealing with the customers, my communication should be appropriate. I should not use the words which otherwise I should not use while dealing with people, even if my temper is little high. So such are the personality traits which we have to manage systematically, planning out the things, maybe problem solving or self confidence. That is why I said that these are the personal traits which we have already seen in qualities of an entrepreneur. Only thing is, those we have to inculcate in us whenever we are talking about entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial competencies. Then comes venture initiation and success competencies. So venture initiation, now you are personally at personal level, whatever competencies we have, that we have discussed, and that is what precisely the definition of entrepreneurial competency is, that it takes care of your generic skills. I mean, the skills which you need to have to act as an entrepreneur, and there are some skills which you can inculcate specifically, you can work upon, and you can get them imbibed in you. Are you understanding? कुछ skills है जो हमें हमारे पास होते हैं, so we have to develop those skills, as well as कुछ skills हमें नए से सीखने पड़ते हैं. Maybe I'm quite poor in terms of calculations, मुझे हिसाब रखना अच्छे से नहीं आ रहा है. So that skill can be acquired, that skill can be practiced. So that skill comes under enterprise management competency, because I have to learn, I have to act on it. Suppose my communication is not good. Suppose I lack that confidence when I have to talk in English, suppose. So I have to practice, I have to work on it. So I have to see to it that I get chance and I can improve on my communication skill. Getting it? These competencies are helping the entrepreneur to successfully venture into an enterprise. So these are broadly classified as behavioral ones, which we have seen, and enterprise launching competencies and enterprise managing competencies. So when we are launching the enterprise, that time what competencies can be required? Imagine yourself that कार्ड्स छप गए हमारे दुकान के, एंड मे बी ऑन so and so auspicious day you are going to launch your shop, or let's say launch your venture. So before that launch, you must have done all the homework correctly. So what homework in terms of competencies you can think that you have done? Abhi ye behavioral we have done. This is related to the person. Suppose if I have opted for a franchisee format, तो जो भी legal formality है, may be related to finalizing terms and conditions, continuously talking to that franchisor, that part you have already done. Now you are in this launching phase, जहाँ पे मानो हमारी दुकान बन रही है, you are dealing with the ये जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स होते हैं उनके साथ वी आर डीलिंग. सो दैट टाइम व्हाट कॉम्पिटेंसीज कैन बी इनकलकेटेड इन अस. तो इस तरह के क्या कॉम्पिटेंसीज बता सकते हैं हम लोग व्हेन वी आर इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉन्चिंग आवर एंटरप्राइज. Maybe taking care of some last minute, some surprise which comes to us. Maybe the supplier, something happens, he is going to supply us the goods little late, so that will not be available on the launch date. Or maybe the kind of setup which you have thought of for your enterprise will definitely be not, it will not be ready by the set date. So maybe you have to put in some extra money, and maybe थोड़े बहुत ज़्यादा laborers लगा के you have to get your work done. So these are some of the managerial competencies which are required when we are launching, at the time of launching our enterprise. And when we are managing, you are nurturing your organization, you are taking care of your organization which is actually running. जो चलती हुई गाड़ी है, जो the one which is running. So what do we do when the vehicle is running? We see to it that we regularly maintain it. So if anything happens, maybe after every 500 kilometers, I see to it that I put it for जो वर्कशॉप में आई सेंड माई व्हीकल, और आई रेगुलरली चेक द व्हील अलाइनमेंट और द proper pressure in all the tires after every 300 kilometers or like that. So this is how we are managing our vehicle. Similarly, enterprise also we should be managing in this way. Maybe regularly talking to our the advisors, जो भी हमारा CA है या जो भी है, asking about if you have opted for loan, then ensuring that you repay the loan in given period of time, managing your relations with your suppliers and vendors. So these are all the general ones, but this is how we are bifurcating them in terms of personal and at the time of initiation of the venture. Getting it? Now we are starting with the concept of entrepreneurship development, ED. Abhi entrepreneurship development, what we have to do here is we have to understand what is the concept of ED, entrepreneurship development. Then we have to see what are the objectives of such program or ED. What is the objective of organizing entrepreneurship development program, and importance, why having an entrepreneur is important. So ED is what now we are going to see. So entrepreneurship development, first of all, it means what? It means that you are creating this attitude of being an entrepreneur in individuals through searching for prospective entrepreneurs and promoting that attitude to make him a real entrepreneur. Like we have casting couch, whose job is to find out the talent and accordingly they place them in the movies. Or maybe we can say that these BCCI or the Ranji Trophy, these organizations, when they organize such events, the one motive behind organizing such events is to find the real talented cricketers who can later on go and represent country nationally as well as internationally. So they are trying to find the talent. Similarly, entrepreneurship development, meaning you are trying to find the people or the individuals who have this attitude of entrepreneurship in them. How you are finding? searching for the prospective entrepreneurs and then promoting that attitude, nurturing that attitude to make an individual a real entrepreneur. So we are basically finding out who can be our future entrepreneurs. Now, again, why finding entrepreneurs is an important thing for us? Because these entrepreneurs are generating employment opportunities. So for betterment of society, that is why entrepreneurs are needed. Job create करते हैं, so this rate of unemployment goes down. Many such developments can also take place. And personally also, you are nurturing an individual because you are understanding his needs and requirements and you are trying to fulfill it. Now this ED, बहुत सारी जगहों पे, in many institutes you will find ED cells, entrepreneurship development cells are there. The job of, or the basic objective of these EDP cells, entrepreneurship development ED cells, is to find out such students, give them the assistance so that they can go ahead and start their venture. तो ये बेसिक मोटिव है बिहाइंड स्टार्टिंग सच एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम. इससे होता क्या है? It motivates to identify new business ideas and investment opportunities under changing economic environment. So along with developing or along with creating employment opportunities, such entrepreneurial ventures, they also come up with some new business ideas which otherwise would not have been possible. So you can currently, the current scenario is with the help of internet or by using this online channel, you can seriously think of business and you can carry it out. You will find many such examples which otherwise were happening offline. Now they are happening online. So this is the only difference. But then this is what is entrepreneurial talent. Abhi policy bazaar for that matter. Now again, 10 years back or 15 years back, when the usage of internet was limited, we never thought that we can do select the insurance policy which I want, or the service provider, insurance life insurance service provider which I am comfortable with. I can find it on my own. I can get whatever information I want on my own, and I only can select to which policy I can opt for. Otherwise the business model was, देर वेर LIC एजेंट्स जो कि हमारे नोन फैमिली में से होते थे, मे बी आर अंकल और नेबरिंग अंकल और मे बी समबडी इन योर फैमिली. दे यूज टू कम, दे यूज टू से कि ये पॉलिसी है, इसके ये बेनिफिट्स है, ले लो करके आर पेरेंट्स यूज टू ऑप्ट without asking much of the questions, without going much in detail of the policies. Right? Am I right? ऐसे होता था, बराबर है?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now what is happening? I am finding out all the information. Now I can find out why insurance is important. Why going for life insurance better option क्या है? Life insurance या term insurance? मैं उनके demerits, merits सब पता करती हूँ, and then I can select the service provider. Now same thing happens in case of vehicle insurance also. No need to tell somebody to come take the pics of it, फिर वो ये करो वो करो. Now you can do it on your own. Renewal के लिए हमको कहाँ जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. So yes.
पहले सिर्फ LIC पॉलिसी थी, अभी बहुत सारी पॉलिसीज बनी आ गई है.
Right. This is because of government policy. It was earlier the sector, insurance sector was being, the government only had the monopoly in this sector. Now after ये जो liberalization वगैरह जो हो गया, slowly and steadily it came down to this sector also. So people understood the need of participation of foreign players, and slowly and steadily they understood that giving this kind of flexibility will really give us more revenue compared to earlier one. Because when these people come, they come with lot of innovative ways of tackling the customers. Now, LIC only had see, I'm not against LIC or in favor of any other insurance policy, insurance service provider. We are just explaining the scenario. So when it was when LIC was actively involved in life insurance sector, this life insurance policy sector, they had no competition. So when you have no competition, it's like monopoly one. So you will do whatever you want to do. There is no one to question you. Now, when people from outside come and they start attacking you, then you wake up and then you realize the importance of currently what LIC is doing. So they are now actively advertising. They are actively, coming up with a lot of options in terms of policies, and many things are getting changed because of this entry of foreign players. सो ये सब चीजें कब पॉसिबल होती है? व्हेन द बिजनेस आइडियाज विच आर देयर इन इंडिविजुअल्स माइंड्स, व्हेन समबडी नर्चर्स इट. जैसे कि इफ आई कैन सेंस, अगर मैं मानो इफ आई एम अ स्कूल टीचर, नाउ आई एम सराउंडेड बाय द किड्स हु आर लेट्स से इन 5th स्टैंडर्ड, 6th स्टैंडर्ड, 7th स्टैंडर्ड, ऐसे छोटे छोटे बच्चे. सो आई कैन सेंस, because I am with them, I can sense which child is good at what. So accordingly, when we motivate him or her to pursue a particular thing, it gets, the child also is benefited, and in turn the organization is also benefited. इसीलिए schools में हम लोग देखते हैं टीचर्स दे ऑलवेज मोटिवेट कि अगर कोई होशियार बच्चा होता है क्लास में, who is knowledgeable या serious towards the studies, teachers tell them to sit for competitive exams, maybe they tell them to attend scholarship exams और बहुत सारे एग्जाम्स ऐसे. So ये क्यों पॉसिबल होता है? बिकॉज जैसे टीचर्स जॉब इज टू इन दिस वे नर्चर किड्स, सिमिलरली ईडीपी का काम होता है, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलपमेंट सेल, ईडी सेल्स का काम होता है to find out such talent and nurture that talent so that these new business ideas which are there in the person's mind get nurtured, उनको एक proper direction मिलती है, and in turn they create the investment opportunities under changing economic environment. So it is basically for our betterment or for our economy's betterment we are carrying out these activities. It also helps the entrepreneurship development programs or cells, basically they help to transform the idea or opportunity into enterprise. Now many a times it happens that I have a world class idea with me, but I don't know how actually to take that idea further and bring it into reality. Maybe I am lacking the financial skills, as I said. Probably I am very weak in terms of costing, so I don't know how to actually calculate. Maybe I am not very good in terms of marketing. Costing मैंने बहुत अच्छी कर ली है, manufacturing is also good, everything is good, but probably I am weak in terms of marketing. So through these programs or by giving such assistance, whichever areas I am weak at, those are being taken care of by these cells, and this way the assistance is given. जैसे हम एक पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट की ट्यूशन क्यों लगाते हैं? सो दैट जो सब्जेक्ट मेरा वीक है वो मेरा अच्छा बन जाए. सिमिलरली ये इस टाइप का ट्यूशंस या इस टाइप की क्या बोलते हैं सर्विस देने के काम ईडी सेल्स करते हैं. सो if I have to define the concept of this entrepreneurship development, is it's like creating the attitude in individuals through searching for prospective entrepreneurs and promoting that attitude to make an individual a real entrepreneur. Otherwise what happens, जो असली हीरो बनने वाले हैं वो नहीं बन पाते if those acting schools and all are not there. Otherwise अगर मेरे पास I don't have any influence, जो हमने बीच में देखा था कि lot of controversies were there in Bollywood saying that सब क्या बोलते हैं जिसमें people घरानेशाही जिसको हम मराठी में बोलते हैं. So that was being practiced in Bollywood and that was what Kangana was basically saying. So यहाँ पे भी if I don't give fair chance to these individuals, they will never become the entrepreneur, even though they are talented, but then that talent will remain in their minds only, because there has to be somebody who will take out that talent from that person which is there within him. It requires to take it out. It may happen that it is not necessary in all the cases. There are some people who will definitely go ahead and will do things on their own, but then there are lot many other people who require assistance. Maybe in the beginning they require this kind of help, and ये ED cells यही help करते हैं. Okay, so this is what is the concept of entrepreneurship development program. Going in detail of these programs, as I said, it is the process where we search the prospective entrepreneurs and their qualities. We test basically these EDPs, entrepreneurship development programs and sales. They really test whether the person is really is good at it or not. और ओनली ऐसा भी हो सकता है द पर्सन ओनली हैज एन आइडिया बट ही रियली लैक्स दी क्वालिटीज जो हमने कंपिटेंसीज देखे थे, ही रियली लैक्स दोज क्वालिटीज. सो इवन इफ यू हैव दिस एबिलिटी टू इनोवेट, but it is very difficult to take that ability and convert it into a venture. So the process involves really searching the entrepreneurs and the qualities in them. So in this program, entrepreneurial development program, the training is being given through which the new ideas of business and investment opportunities are exposed to the prospective entrepreneurs. So if you look at the program, it includes everything. It includes how to get financial assistance. Generally हम लोग बोल रहे, we are going further into it. So how the financial assistance can be availed, or why communication is important, what sort of paperwork is required, how to draft or how to make a proper business plan, all these things. All these are all the modules which are being taught in entrepreneurial development program. So objective of it is definitely to promote the qualities and traits among the youth. How are we promoting it? Through training and expert consulting. So the people who are expert in these areas, suppose I am an expert in terms of drafting the business plan, I come as a lecturer here and I explain them each and every part of business plan. So whatever my doubts are, those are being cleared, and again assistance is definitely being given at all the stages. To search and develop the opportunities and business ideas for potential entrepreneurs. So there are sessions, as somebody was saying, brainstorming sessions. So these programs also have these brainstorming sessions. For example, suppose as a person, I have this inner feeling that definitely I am going to start something of my own. I don't wish to work under anyone. So this motive is there. अभी हमने theories भी देखी है. We have seen the theories of entrepreneurship. So this inner motive is basically not allowing me to sit idle. बैठने नहीं मुझे दे रहा है. So I am continuously searching. क्या कर सकता हूँ, क्या कर सकता हूँ. So when under such programs, these brainstorming sessions are organized, it helps me to find out exactly what I have to do. And these programs really help. हाँ, ऐसे नहीं है कि सिर्फ theoretical ही है. These programs are really helpful. So if you look, जो startups होते हैं, and if you have observed, there is one YouTuber, उसका नाम कुछ surname is बियर बाइसेप्स करके उसका यूट्यूब चैनल है, some Allahabadiya, yeah, something his name is. So
Ranveer Allahabadiya.
Yeah, Ranveer, yeah. So if you have, I have seen few of his podcasts. So he really talks to such people who are innovating and something different they have done. Yes. Okay. So another objective of these EDPs is to provide and conduct programs for stimulating new ventures. Programs provide managerial skills, they teach marketing techniques and also the technical know-how for the existing entrepreneurs and for the budding entrepreneurs, prospective entrepreneurs, to these programs also make us aware about different project the assistance which are available in the field, and the schemes, and the loan under which scheme you can opt and get yourself benefited. They also provide information regarding various facilities, the concessions, state and central government schemes, and the institutional assistance which can be availed to promote the entrepreneurial ventures. So this is the objective. Now, what is the process and what are the phases? So these phases of EDPs are pre-training phase, training phase, and post-training phase. What these phases are, let us see it in detail. Please just give me a moment.
हो बाळा. तिथून जाऊ शकला असता नाही, तू पडला असता तर काय करायचं मग?
Okay. So as I was discussing, the phases are pre-training phase, training phase, and post-training phase. Now, pre-training phase में this phase is before the training begins. Now, before the training for the program begins, what it includes? So when actually the training begins, maybe you can establish the contacts with local agencies. You can find out the organization which is best suited for you to opt for this training program. So this is basically the initial phase of actually enrolling yourself for the entrepreneurial development program. So you are sorry, so you are finalizing the agencies, you are finalizing the institute. Then you can define, once you have finalized that so and so organization say I would be going and obtaining the training program, or the I would be enrolling for it. Then you can define like the area. huh? Now you have these traits in you that I want to do something of my own. So you basically develop your application, you try to or you are trying to promote yourself, or you are trying to position yourself as the best suited candidate for this program. Now then you would be now this is happening from the institute point of view. You would be taken through written test, there would be group interview and interview, basically the training procedure to actually select the best suited candidate. So pre-training, training, and now comes the post training program. So ट्रेनिंग में और क्या होता है, there are some stages involved. So it's a multi-stage process which basically discriminates the potential person from others against the non-potential ones at different stages. Now it has got some steps or activities where we actually find out the potential ones. Extremely sorry. So stage one is defining the the area who would be actually the potential entrepreneur. So what is his background, what is his level of income. सिर्फ 2 मिनट देना मुझे. I'll just have glass of water and I'll rejoin the session.
Ma'am, take a 5-minute rest.
So pre-training phase is basically selecting the most appropriate one. Training phase mein the person, the selected one, undergoes the training. Now this training is as I said, there are lots of modules. The personality training, the communication. There is a module on communication, and there is a module on finance. How to the basic requirements. जैसे हमारे कोर्स में when at what all points or topics we include in terms of finance, like we have financial management, there is a module on HRM, there is a module on operations. So basic training includes all these modules, along with specifically working on the person, along with taking care of his communication, working on his communication. The training program is being designed, and after each and every module, during training phase, after each and every module, the person has to appear for the examination, and whatever his score is, based on that the improvement is being suggested, and accordingly his progress is monitored. Now post training phase में the person, since he has undergone training, maybe after, जैसे हमारी semester end exam होती है, just to ensure that now you qualify for the next level. So similarly post training the person undergoes the examination. The pattern is, it depends on organization to organization, but roughly we can say there is a written exam followed by some practical जैसे like we have to give presentation, similarly they have to present the business plan, and accordingly they are being judged and analyzed based on their performance. In case it is found that the person still lacks few of the qualities, maybe still his communication is not little up to the mark, maybe few more modules are being offered, and in this way the training, pre-training, training, and post-training phase of EDP is there. So after successfully completing, the person is now set to venture actually into the venture of his own on his own. So this is how the entrepreneurial development and entrepreneurial development program ED cells functioning and working. Now we are we are starting with institutions for entrepreneurial development. So there are, as I said, there are 4 to 5 different institutions which support entrepreneurship development, entrepreneurial development. Uh, probably I think of winding up the session earlier today. There is, I'm I'm unable to talk further, so we'll cover that in our next session. Probably I'll ensure that next session is bit more than 1 hour, just to cover up the things which I could not cover today. Fine.
Yeah,
So
ma'am. Please, sure, no problem.
Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am, no
Okay.
problem.
we'll
Yes,
stop
ma'am.
our
No
session
problem.
here itself, and I'll see you in next class. Any doubts you have, please ask me. All right.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you so much, and always
Yes, ma'am.
nice interacting with you all. Bye bye and take care. Good night.